Welcome to another deep dive with us. This one takes us on kind of an unexpected journey. We're exploring universal truths across ancient teachings, and we're going to be focusing on Buddha, Jesus, and Neville Goddard. Now, you might be thinking, what could these figures possibly have in common?
Right.
And that's exactly what we're going to be uncovering. We'll be looking at things like manifestation, self-awareness, and the nature of reality. It's a pretty big idea, right?
Big stuff.
Well, we'll break it down.
Yeah.
And we'll try to find those golden nuggets of wisdom that we can apply to our lives today.
That's the goal. And what's fascinating to me is that despite their differences in time, culture, and even their specific beliefs, these three figures converge on some surprisingly similar ideas.
Oh yeah. So let's start with manifestation. This source dives into Neville Goddard's intriguing concept that imagination is the key to creating our reality. He believed that what we vividly imagine and feel, we bring into being. So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about truly embodying the feeling of already having what you desire.
Embodying it. Goddard called this living in the end. He suggested that by fully immersing ourselves in the feeling of achieving our goals, the joy, the gratitude, the sense of accomplishment, we can actually draw those experiences into our lives.
And that might sound a bit out there. It's really interesting to consider how this concept of the power of belief resonates with the teachings of Jesus. Like in the Gospel of Mark, Jesus said, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours."
It's that unwavering faith, that deep conviction that your desires are already fulfilled. Seems to be a key principle in manifestation.
Okay, but then we have Buddha, who approaches manifestation from a different angle, emphasizing karma, the law of cause and effect. He's quoted the Dhammapada saying, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought." It's this idea that our thoughts and actions create ripples that shape our reality.
Yeah. While Goddard focuses on manifesting specific desires, Buddha's emphasis is on cultivating a pure mind to achieve liberation from suffering. He believed that by understanding the interconnectedness of all things and acting with compassion and awareness, we create a more positive and harmonious reality, both for ourselves and others.
So it seems like there's a common thread here. All three emphasize the power of the mind to shape our experiences, whether it's through focused imagination, unwavering faith, or mindful awareness of our thoughts and actions. Our inner world plays a significant role in creating our outer reality.
Definitely. And this leads us to another key theme explored in the source: self-awareness.
Oh, right. Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Neville Goddard talked about the importance of self-observation, becoming aware of our inner dialogue, beliefs, and feelings. He used the analogy of a mirror. Our reality is a reflection of what's happening inside us.
That's a good one. It's as if our inner world is the projector and our outer world is the screen. If we want to change the picture, we have to adjust the projector.
I see. So instead of just reacting to our circumstances, we can become more conscious creators of our reality by understanding and transforming our inner landscape.
Exactly. And this is where Buddha's teachings on mindfulness come into play. In the Dhammapada, he emphasizes the importance of observing our thoughts and desires without getting attached to them. It's about cultivating that inner observer, that detached awareness, which allows us to break free from the suffering caused by clinging to fleeting desires.
It's like creating space between ourselves and our thoughts. We're not constantly swept away by them.
Yeah. And it's fascinating how this ties into Jesus' teachings. Do you remember that powerful quote from the Gospel of Thomas?
I think so.
"If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you."
Wow.
It's a powerful reminder that if we don't face what's inside, those unexamined parts of ourselves can really hold us back.
Yeah. So whether we're talking about self-observation, mindfulness, or simply taking the time to reflect, it seems like the path to real transformation starts with turning our attention inward.
Absolutely. It's about becoming conscious of our thoughts, our beliefs, and our feelings, and understanding how they shape our reality. And this brings us to the third core theme: the nature of reality.
Okay. Here's where things get really interesting. We have Buddha talking about Maya, the illusion that clouds our perception and leads to suffering. He emphasized recognizing the impermanent nature of the physical world.
Right. He believed that clinging to things as if they're permanent leads to pain, because everything is in constant flux. But then we have Neville Goddard, who suggests that reality is a projection of our inner world.
Wait, so are we talking about illusion or projection? How can both be true?
I know. That's the beauty of exploring these different perspectives. Goddard isn't necessarily denying the existence of the physical world. He's saying we have more power to influence it than we might think. Our assumptions and beliefs shape our experiences.
I see. So we're not just passive observers, we're active participants in creating our reality.
Right. And this potential for transformation, this ability to change our reality by shifting our inner state, is what makes Goddard's teaching so compelling.
Okay, and then we have Jesus, who talks about the kingdom of heaven as an inner state of consciousness. In the Gospel of Thomas, he says, the kingdom of God is within you. So it's not an external place, but something we access through spiritual insight and connection.
He suggests that true reality is not something external, but something we access through inner exploration and connection to a higher power.
Okay, so we've got Buddha saying reality is an illusion, Neville saying we project it from within, and Jesus saying true reality is a spiritual realm that we access within ourselves. It seems like they're all pointing to a reality that's much more fluid and malleable than we might traditionally believe.
It really does. It's almost like they're all saying, hey, there's more to this world than meets the eye. They challenge us to think beyond our limited perceptions and consider the possibility that our consciousness plays a much larger role in shaping reality than we might have previously thought.
Yeah, this is definitely making me rethink my own assumptions about reality, but I'm also wondering, how can we actually apply these teachings to our lives today? What are the practical takeaways here?
That's a great question. And luckily, universal truths across ancient teachings provide some really insightful guidance on that front.
Well, let's dive into those practical applications in the next part of our deep dive.
One of the most compelling takeaways, I think, is this emphasis on belief and visualization, particularly from Neville Goddard and Jesus. It's about actively engaging with our desires, not just passively hoping they'll come true.
So it's more than just daydreaming. Are we talking about like that whole vision board idea?
Yeah, it can be as simple or elaborate as you like, but the core principle is to visualize your goals as if they've already been achieved. Feel the emotions, the sensations, the gratitude, as if it's already your reality. The source suggests making this a daily practice, really immersing yourself in that feeling of having what you desire.
Okay. It's like that idea. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Our beliefs have a powerful impact on our reality.
For sure. And this aligns with the concept of the placebo effect, too. Studies have shown that our beliefs and expectations can have a tangible effect on our physical well-being. It's as if our minds can actually influence matter.
That's so wild. It ties back to that quote from the Gospel of Thomas, "What you bring forth will save you." If we harbor negative beliefs and expectations, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if we cultivate positive beliefs and a strong sense of faith, it can have a healing effect.
Exactly. It's a powerful reminder that our thoughts are not just abstract concepts. They have a real impact on our lives and experiences. And this is where Buddha's wisdom on mindfulness becomes so relevant. He encourages us to dedicate time each day to simply observing our thoughts without judgment.
So instead of getting caught up in those negative thought spirals, we can learn to detach and observe them with more neutrality.
Yeah, picture your thoughts like clouds passing by. You can acknowledge them, observe them, but you don't have to get swept away by them. This practice helps us create that space between ourselves and our thoughts, so we can respond with more awareness and intention.
That makes sense. And the source also highlights Jesus' call to introspection. He encourages us to use tools like journaling, meditation, or prayer to delve deeper into our inner world. It's about taking the time for self-discovery, right?
Yeah, it's about understanding our motivations, our beliefs, our deepest desires, and trusting that the answers we seek often lie within us, not in the external world. This inward journey is crucial for personal growth and transformation.
So we've got visualization and belief from Neville Goddard and Jesus, mindfulness from Buddha, and introspection inspired by Jesus. It's fascinating how these seemingly disparate figures offer such complementary wisdom.
It is. It really highlights the interconnectedness of these ancient teachings. They all point to the power of our minds, the importance of self-awareness, and the fluid nature of reality. It's like they're giving us a roadmap for personal transformation and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
I like that. And what I appreciate about this source is that it doesn't just lay out these teachings in a theoretical way. It connects them to our lives today.
Totally. You're absolutely right. It takes these ancient wisdom traditions and makes them feel incredibly accessible and practical for a modern audience.
So, for example,
Yeah.
it points out how the concept of karma, often associated with Eastern philosophies, can be seen as a universal principle of cause and effect that applies to everyone, regardless of their beliefs.
Right. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences, both for ourselves and others. By being mindful of our choices, we can create a more positive ripple effect in the world. And then there's that fascinating connection between Neville Goddard's idea of projecting our reality from within and the modern understanding of the placebo effect.
It really makes you wonder how much of our experience is shaped by our perceptions and beliefs.
For sure. And it brings up the question of how we can consciously harness that power to create a more positive and fulfilling reality for ourselves and others.
Okay, that brings to mind Buddha's concept of Maya, the illusion that clouds our perception and leads to suffering. I have to admit, that one's always been a bit hard for me to grasp.
I get it. It's a complex idea, but the source provides a really helpful analogy by relating it to the modern world of technology and the social media. Think about the carefully curated images and stories we see online. They often present a distorted view of reality.
It's like everyone's trying to project their ideal self, even if it's not entirely authentic.
Yeah. And just like clinging to material possessions can lead to suffering, clinging to this digital illusion can also create a sense of dissatisfaction and emptiness. It's a reminder to be discerning about the information we consume and to seek out authentic connection both online and offline.
So what does all this mean for us as we navigate this complex and often overwhelming world? What's the key takeaway from this deep dive?
That is the question, isn't it? I think it's about recognizing the power we have to shape our reality, both internally and externally, whether it's through our thoughts, beliefs, or actions. We are not simply passive observers in this grand play of life. We have agency.
We have the ability to choose how we respond to challenges,
Yeah.
what we focus our attention on, and what kind of world we want to create.
Yeah. It's about choosing to cultivate a mindset of awareness, positivity, and faith, knowing that it can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves.
And it's about remembering that while the path may not always be easy, the journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth is ultimately the most rewarding one we can embark on. It's about embracing the journey, the ups and downs, the challenges and triumphs, knowing that it's all part of a larger tapestry that's unfolding perfectly as it should.
That's beautifully said. And perhaps most importantly, it's about recognizing that we are not alone on this journey. Whether we find solace in the teachings of Buddha, Jesus, Neville Goddard, or any other spiritual tradition that resonates with us, there is a sense of connection and shared wisdom that can guide us along the way.
It's a beautiful reminder that despite our differences, we are all ultimately interconnected, striving for the same things: love, meaning, and a sense of belonging in this vast universe. And that's a pretty powerful message to carry with us, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, I have one final question for you. If we take all this wisdom to heart, if we really embrace the power of our minds and the interconnectedness of all things, what's possible? What kind of world could we create?
Yeah, it does feel like we're at a crossroads. We have all this wisdom from the past, but it's up to us to decide how to apply it to the present and future.
Right, and it's not about creating some utopian fantasy or anything. It's about recognizing that even small shifts in our individual consciousness can have a ripple effect, contributing to a collective awakening.
So it's not about waiting for someone else to change the world. It's about taking responsibility for our own thoughts, beliefs, and actions, knowing that they have an impact on the world around us.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming our power. Not in a domineering sense, but in a way that empowers us to be conscious creators of our own lives and co-creators of a more beautiful and just world.
Okay, and that starts with each of us taking those teachings to heart, practicing them in our daily lives, and sharing that wisdom with others.
For sure, it's about becoming living embodiments of those universal truths, radiating that energy outward and inspiring others to do the same.
What a beautiful way to put it. It's not enough to just talk about these ideas. We have to live them, embody them, and let them guide our interactions with the world.
Yeah, that's where the real transformation happens, both individually and collectively.
Well, folks, it seems we've reached the end of our deep dive into universal truths across ancient teachings. We've explored the wisdom of Buddha, Jesus, and Neville Goddard, uncovering remarkable connections and gleaning practical insights for navigating our modern lives.
We have. We've delved into the power of manifestation, the importance of self-awareness, and the fluid nature of reality, challenging ourselves to think beyond our limitations and embrace a more expansive view of what's possible.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. And I have to say, I'm leaving with more questions than answers.
Haha, me too. But that's a good thing, right? These teachings aren't meant to be dogma or rigid rules. They're meant to be explored, contemplated, and most importantly, lived.
So this isn't the end of the conversation, it's just the beginning. We've planted some seeds, and now it's up to each of us to nurture them and see what grows.
I like that analogy. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. If these three figures, separated by time and culture, were able to tap into these universal truths, What does that tell us about the nature of human consciousness? Is there a deeper well of wisdom within each of us that we're only just beginning to access?
That's a really good question to reflect on. Maybe we all have the potential to connect to this deeper wisdom, this universal source of truth.
Perhaps by exploring these teachings and engaging in practices like mindfulness, visualization, and introspection, we can unlock that potential within ourselves.
It's like we're being invited to become explorers of our own inner landscapes, to discover those hidden truths and tap into the boundless potential that resides within each of us.
Exactly. And by doing so, we can contribute to a collective awakening. A shift in consciousness that ripples out and creates a more beautiful, compassionate, and just world for all.
That's a beautiful vision, and one that I think we can all aspire to. So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking those universal truths that resonate with your soul.
And until next time, keep diving deep.
Thanks for exploring with me. If you enjoyed this journey, share it, like it, and subscribe for more stories that bridge the past and present. Keep seeking, keep learning. Until next time.